Good morning. Happy Friday, March 7th, 2025. Welcome to another episode of Let's Build AI Skills with Niko, George, and Chris. How you fellas doing this morning?
Doing well. It's Friday. It's been a great week. Yesterday, got to witness probably one of the most emotional speeches I've heard in a minute, uh, especially like just in our arena in general. And of course, I'm talking about Mr. George B. Thomas, who just absolutely killed it yesterday at the Profoundly launch.
Thanks,
If you
buddy.
guys missed that, definitely check it out. Was honestly just really, it was one of the most moving speeches I've heard. And I mean, I'm comparing these to inbound speeches. So
Yeah, I am. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I got emotional about halfway
Yeah,
through where
I've never seen
oh
that.
yeah, we all did. Yeah.
like I don't usually get like that, but I had to like compose yourself, brother. Like what are you doing right now? Don't fall apart. So it
Hold it
was,
together.
I know it was like, come on, man up, bro. Whoa, like hit my chest and stuff. I'm like, I didn't hit my chest, but it was like, oh my gosh, like I was feeling it. And it's so true. Like I look at the ecosystem and I think back when it was like Marcus and I, like we were the people creating content around HubSpot. It was lonely, but it was fun. It was, and so like as I was giving that speech and I was thinking about all the people who are doing this human-centric, value first, inbound, be a great human, like I just started to get emotional. And so it was a good moment. I am doing good too. That's exactly the same thing I was going to say. I'm coming off the back of the Profoundly launch. I'm looking forward to the weekend. And also I'm just excited about where we're at in life and the technology that we have at our fingertips and the creativity. The ability to be creative right now is absolutely amazing. But Chris, how the heck are you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Feeling similar. That was the first time I've ever seen George get a little bit clumped in the middle of an event speech like that. Seen it a few times, I think, in Beyond Your Default. But to see it during a presentation in that moment in front of 100 people,
Yeah.
very powerful. And you said some nice things about me, which I appreciate. I think that's kind of what we're going for. Like you say, like it's grown so much, and as it's grown, it's also grown pretty unintentionally as people just step up and all over the place are helping people. So it's very hard to recognize outside of the growing number of LinkedIn posts that list everybody as the experts in the field, which also feel good, by the way. But just hearing you, Niko, say that about like there's been more than one unsolicited comparison to inbound, which is crazy to think about. We just launched like 6 weeks ago, but that's the power of kind of like the goal of like instead of having to blaze and create new and like just find all the people already adding value and just bring them together, and it's already multiplying, has a multiplying effect. And it's really beautiful to watch. And it was something special yesterday for sure. Can't wait to get the recordings up and available to everybody, which should be happening in the next few days or so. I'll be giving more of a breakdown later today on Let's Build GTM with Rob Jones at noon Central. But we'll get into some AI skills for today. And George's turn on doing some pretty amazing stuff with a new tool. And I think the setup needs to be, when was the first time, George, that you said to yourself, or somebody said to you the
Yeah.
word chat GBT?
Oh, as soon as Chat GPT came out, I mean, we're talking within probably like 30 days of that being a thing. We were joking around on a call, and somebody's like, "Yeah, we need a Chat GBT," and I was like, and I actually went to try to buy the domain, by the way, and it was like $60,000, and I'm like, "Well, that's not happening." Um, but yeah, it pretty quickly there was that kind of correlation, Chris.
So here we are, 2.5 years later,
Yeah, yeah.
and it looks like you might have one.
Well, so and here's the funny thing too, like, yes. Well, first of all, let's just say yes, but and yes, and all yes, all the things. So here's it's once again, it's a thing that I am doing, kicking and screaming. And what I mean by that is if when I tell the story about Marcus saying, I think you should do a podcast, I'm like, I don't want to. I had somebody 6 months ago be like, bro, you need to build a clone. And I was like, I don't want to. And then I ended up through a great opportunity spending a weekend with this human and another human. And they were like, you need to. And I was like, okay. And then we did. And holy crap. Holy crap. So yes, I don't know if you want to ask me more questions, if you want me to get into it.
Let's get into it because it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Showing
So
a few
gonna-
people
This is cool.
this week.
I'm gonna present my screen, and I want to make sure I get the entire screen here, which is gonna be this one, and I want to make sure audio is on because we're gonna need that. I want everybody to just think about what I just said because Chat GPT, it's like you talk to it with text. Okay, anyway, I'm going to share this. So, first of all, I want to start here, Chris, because I want everybody to see this is a LinkedIn post. I want everybody to see that, first of all, this is in German, right?
Can you zoom in a little bit for us?
Oh, yeah, I can zoom in a little bit. So, let's see if I can plus. There, that's
There we
better.
go. Yep.
So I understand my name and I understand Marcus's name immediately when I see this post, and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know what's going on here. But you can translate this, to which I did, and it's basically saying, the guy that I have followed for years and watched almost every piece of content, 1,000 podcasts, and and then it's like coming down here, and boom, I see this screenshot, and I'm like, I didn't ask anybody to talk about this. I didn't ask anybody to share this. And so all of a sudden there's like this conversation of like, yeah, you can actually speak to it in German and start a call with it. And so I'm kind of talking about that. And then some of these comments are interesting. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to actually talk about this comment here where it's saying, I don't know if I agree with cloning, a thought leader, this, that, and the other thing. And so this is where I want to start. I want to start with the why I actually did this, Chris. Because what I don't want people to think is like, I'm just doing this because it's AI and it's the new thing and we want to be cool. I've been doing this since 2013. So is that 12 years now? Like if I do simple math, it's a long time. That's what it is. And here's one thing that I found out there. I've been asked multiple times, how do I get more? And I say this humbly. How do I get more George B. Thomases in my organization? Meaning, how do we get people who are just coming into the inbound space? They're working for an agency and they need to get up to speed on strategy or the tool. Well, that's training and it's time. Unless you had like a sidekick or an assistant that had 12 years of experience sitting on your desktop that you could start to ask questions. I've been asked many, many times, like, is there a way that you could help, but we can't afford you? Is there a lower price? Is there group coaching? And so sometimes people can't afford to actually like get into the ecosystem because like training, it's not cheap. And I fully understand that. There are people, and the reason I brought up this LinkedIn post, we speak completely different languages. Like, and that's difficult. And so there's always been this like language barrier. And I've always wondered, like, well, man, can I get to a day where I could actually have like YouTube channels that are in German or in French or in, Spanish or whatever. And so that like the language barrier gap is a thing. And so there's all these reasons why time zones. Listen, I have some meetings with people in Australia in real life, by the way. And it gets difficult because I'm up at like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, which I'm usually tired at that time, and they're up way early. And so time zones, there's just so many reasons why I would want to get the 12 years of content creation, 12 years of HubSpot knowledge out in a way where no matter what your time zone is, no matter what your language is, no matter what, you can have a conversation or ask the things that might be in my brain. Right. And
Yeah.
because one of the things that I put in my comment to that LinkedIn post, and that comment was, I will never turn down an IRL, in real life meeting. I will always continue to be somebody. This is not a replacement. This is an augmentation to those in the ecosystem that need the access. Right. So,
Yes.
so
And
that,
I
go ahead.
want to double click on that. The augmentation and filling spaces that are not filled otherwise. Like you said at the top, like it's a great time to be alive.
Yeah.
And if you can't find a way to think about the abundance like that is available right now, because this is like, we know that when it comes to HubSpot, we know, or I have heard that like Europe is traditionally underserved when it comes to resources and support. Latin America and almost every vertical I've ever experienced is underserved from a support perspective. So this has led to ideation of like, how do we create resources in those languages, like just based on the thought leadership that we already have, and right. And now like we can't, and it's not replacing anything else that's already there, right?
Right.
So we're strictly adding more value in places that sorely need it, right?
Yeah.
And they've been asking for it forever. It's not rocket science. It's surprising. The one thing that's surprising is how fast, like man, so immediate social proof. You just announced this thing this week.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I've reached out to a couple other folks, not to be named yet, and been like, hey, this might be the biggest thing that I've ever done in the HubSpot ecosystem. Would you be interested in putting this like in your newsletter or talking about it? And yes, please give us a write-up so we can. Okay. I can do that.
Exactly right, Daryl. Like helping the world for good with AI. That's one of our main goals with this show. Like there's so much that can be done. And for me, and I've brought this up to several people this week, as like with the best of intentions, knowing that it's very possible to freak people out and go down a path of replacement and where humans going to be and all this stuff. But for me, there's two ways that you can go right now with stuff like this, and you can accept or you can avoid.
Yeah.
And just avoiding, we're trying everything in our power to help you not do that, because it cannot be avoided.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So if people are curious, they can go to georgebthomas.com/helper. Here we kind of explain like, what can you do with the George B. Thomas HubSpot Helper clone? We talk about the potential. We, get a HubSpot edge you've been looking for. Who's the clone for? If you're a super admin, a power user, heck, I'll even show, if you haven't purchased HubSpot yet, how this might be helpful for you. If you're a business owner or leader, and why me? Man, I've been as bleeding orange as humanly possible since I stepped into the ecosystem in 2012. I've been an aggressive learner, an aggressive educator. And so this is literally just taking me and trying to do the best of making a me version that everybody can get access to. And when I say that, I want everybody to realize I really mean me, not just HubSpot me. I mean me. And I'll explain that in a little bit too. But you can go through here. All this page does is it gives you 3 buttons that get you right here. Because I want everybody to have like a super clean interface to be able to engage and do the things that they're trying to do. So a couple things that I want to mention. One, there are some suggested questions that you could pick one and kind of get started with. It does keep a history of your running conversations that you have with it. So you can always start a new conversation if you want to. You're going to see over here that you can even give me feedback. Like if there's an answer that you're like, I don't know, bro. I don't think that has anything to do with the price of rice in China. So can we please work on that and maybe train it a little bit? Like, yeah, absolutely. Give feedback. You're also going to see here that you could share your conversation if you like it with a team member or something like that. So there are some like pretty rich features in here. But the way that this works is, let's say I'm just even trying to figure out like what the heck is this HubSpot thing that somebody just told me about, and I want to ask it the question, what is HubSpot? The fun thing is it's not going to just gurgitate like the general speak. It's actually going to kind of talk like I do. So you're going to see that there's some language in there that might be a little bit different than your typical like just robotic bot, right? The other thing I want you to see in this and understand about this is that it's a closed system. It is not going out to Chat GPT. It's not going out to anywhere. It's like it is just the information that we have given it that it's learning from. And you can literally look at the citations of like, this was George's Twitter. This is Sidekick Strategies. This, if we go down here, this is Sidekick Strategies. So it's either like this is a file that we've uploaded, so a Word doc or something that we've used to train it. And so you can see like where the stuff is actually coming from. And it's our thoughts, our brain, our way that we think of life. Now, you can read through this if you want to, but you can also say, hey, can you read this out loud for me? Now this is like having a Swiss Army knife for your business strategy. Powerful. Okay. So I could hit this and it's going to load and it's just going to read this for me. Now, we'll give it a second.
HubSpot is an all-in-one dynamic customer and business growth platform that's built to help you attract, engage, and delight your customers at every stage of their journey. At its core, HubSpot is powered by a robust CRM.
Right. Thanks, buddy. I'll tell it stuff here. Citations.
I love that.
I can get the list. Right. And listen, it sounds like me, doesn't sound like me, whatever. Like that's not the important part. The important part is it's delivering the information here. And also you can read it out loud. And so now you could just sit here and go like, okay, well, is HubSpot really free for us? And so like you can type all the things that you want to type here and then get back to it. And again, it's going to be fun. It's going to be edutainment. I did one the other day and it's like
Edutainment. I like that.
the wall, right? It's like throwing this but against the wall. It's like it's fun, but it's great information as well. Now, I'll pause. Chris, Niko, anything on this kind of texting, typing portion that you guys want to just kind of mention or are thinking?
I just remember the first time I used it, I wanted to switch topics. And I was like, okay, we're going to talk about this now. Are you ready? And the response was like, oh, heck yeah, I'm ready. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
This is George.
Okay. Niko, what do you thought?
I admittedly I haven't spent as much time with it as I would like to, but the short amount of time I did spend with it was very Georgie. Is it's the best way I can put it. No, the great part about it, I mean, like this is something that I think we were talking about this, like the three of us, like a few months ago, right? We were talking about like the probability of like cloning ourselves and what that looked like.
Yeah.
And when you were talking to me about it, I was just like, yeah, this is very cool. And I remember, you were messaging me saying like, this is gonna be awesome. And I'm like, yep, It looks like it will be, and then I'll let you. I don't want to take the stats out from under you, but all I can say is, as a teaser, the joke was, man, there's more information in that thing than the Iliad and the Odyssey combined.
Yeah. I'll talk about that in a second. All right. So here's where, to me, texting's fine. Getting me or it to read it is fine. This is where I get excited right here, is because you can literally call it. And by the way, we're still working on, they have this long process. It takes like 15 to 30 days to get an actual like phone number. But there's also going to be an 877 number that you can call. So you could literally be driving down the road or wherever, and you can start to have a conversation around things that you're curious. Again, one of the things I'll say, it's HubSpot and Human Helper. That's all I'm going to tease on that. Okay. So whatever conversation you want to have with my clone to think about what I might think or how I've trained it on the way that I think, you can do this. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's start a call. It's probably going to ask me for access here. Oh, no, it's good.
Hey there, I'm George B. Thomas, the HubSpot Helper, your go-to HubSpot expert and inbound growth guide. How can I help you today?
Yeah, George, can you explain a complex multi-object import where I actually am bringing in locations?
All right, so let's dive into this. When you're tackling a complex multi-object import in HubSpot, especially when locations are involved, it's like assembling a puzzle where every piece has to fit perfectly. The key here is understanding the relationships between your objects. For example, are these locations tied to companies, contacts, or maybe even custom objects? You've got to map that out first. Now, HubSpot lets you import multiple objects at once, but you need to use unique identifiers to connect them. Think of these as the glue that holds your data together. For locations,
Yeah, think of these as the glue that holds your location. Anyway, so very Georgie, right? So that's, by the way, that's not an easy answer to give. But so you can literally just start to have a conversation. I'm just going to go in a really fun way here first.
Hey there, I'm George B. Thomas, the HubSpot Helper, your go-to HubSpot expert and inbound growth guide. How can I help you today?
Yeah, George, I'm having a hard time with actually connecting my calendar to HubSpot. Can you walk me through the steps to connect my calendar?
All right, let's get you sorted out with connecting your calendar to HubSpot. First off, you'll want to head into your HubSpot account and navigate to the settings. Look for the little gear icon in the top right corner. Once you're in settings, find the section labeled General and then click on Calendar. This is where the magic happens. Now, depending on whether you're using Google Calendar or Outlook, you'll see options
George,
to connect either one.
I have a question. I found it, so thank you for helping with that. I hear you talk online about being a happy, helpful, humble human and doing some happy HubSpotting along the way. Can you explain why that's important to you?
Oh man, I love that you asked this. Being a happy, helpful, humble human. It's not just a tagline for me, it's a way of life. Each of those words carries a deep meaning rooted in my personal journey. Let's start with happy. I've been blessed with this natural optimism, and I realized early on that showing up with joy can be contagious. It's like a ripple effect. When you're happy, it inspires others to find their own happiness, even in tough moments. Now, helpful is at the core of who I am. I've always believed in servanthood and being there for others, whether it's answering a HubSpot question or just lending an ear. It's about making someone's day a little easier, a little
Hey, George, I have
brighter.
one last
And then there's
question
humble.
because we're on a show and we have to kind of wrap it up. But can you just maybe tell me what the meaning of life is real quick?
Man, the meaning of life, that's a big one, but here's how I see it. Life is about showing up as your most authentic self, happy, helpful, humble, and human. It's about shining as brightly as you can, not just for yourself, but so you
Hey,
can help
George.
others shine too. We're here
I
to
have a
connect,
question.
grow.
Can you actually wrap the answer to that question of what is the meaning of life?
All right, let's wrap this up with a bow. The meaning of life, at least from where I stand, is about connection, growth, and impact. It's about being a happy, helpful, humble
Oh, I
human.
didn't know.
who
It thought I
shows
meant
up
wrap
every
up the show. That's hilarious. All
That's
right. There you go. So not like, listen, you can ask it anything. Here's the fun part that we were talking about yesterday as a team the word Easter eggs. Like, what could we put in this that if you like said something or did something, it like unlocks something special or unique that it does. And so just the idea of, by the way, you had mentioned this, Niko, and I want to give everybody the right number here. So I'm just gonna look it up real quick. This thing, as we sit here this morning on this show, it has 7,795,289 words that we have trained it on around HubSpot, humans, to make it the closest digital version thinking of your boy George B. Thomas. And we're programming it every day with new stuff.
That sounds like a moat to me. I challenge anybody in the HubSpot ecosystem to show me 8 million words of value. Not even like just whatever transcripts you want to throw in. It's like, all the trainings that you've done, all the content that you've created. It's just like, it's really powerful to think about.
It's in there.
Like George is really just taking the first step towards, something that we've been talking about for weeks now, and something Chris and I have definitely been talking about, and a lot of people have been asking me about, which is like, what's the next evolution? What's the next step to all of this stuff? Like, where do we go? What does it look like working with agents or whatever? And George is already like 10 steps ahead of most of you guys, right? There's already 2 Georges out there.
Oh, don't tell my wife that. Don't tell my wife that.
I mean, like, this, like, so like this form of George plus operator equals George's assistant, right?
Yeah.
And
well, that's the thing. That Niko, you were hitting on something, because we have an internal version of this cat as well.
Yeah.
That's like that. It just makes logical sense, right? And so, when I think about it, it's like, to your point in terms of it being a moat. I don't, one of the things I laughed at when all of this first started was when financial sector was just like, oh, there's no moat, there's no such thing as a moat, like, whatever. And Allman was the first one to say, like, it's the model, like the model is the moat. It's not a matter of like, it's not, you can't productize this because it's intelligence. So you can't really say like, oh, this intelligence is better than that intelligence or whatever. They're just different types, just like they are different people. They're different minds. They think different ways. So to Chris's point, good luck trying to create another George, because only George can do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what he did to create this thing is really, it's the same. It's probably close to the same level of work that I put into Triple H, right? And if it's anything near the same, you have now brought onto yourself another job, friend, because that upkeep, it takes a minute.
I think we'll talk about that next week, because George and I were talking about what this means in terms of like every business leader ever, especially founders of startups, say the words, "I wish I could clone myself."
Yeah.
This is what that looks like, and what it's going to activate. Knowing George is going to be pretty powerful. As we wrap up, I just want to share this comment and let this LinkedIn user know, when I build my clone, that will definitely be the answer to that question. So don't worry. Thanks for showing that off, George, man.
Absolutely.
Powerful stuff.
Yes.
And until next week, folks, try to think abundantly this weekend, based on what you just saw, and try very hard to, find those opportunities of what's possible. So much is possible right now. Find a way to see it, find it, play with it, learn it, and let's grow. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.